On June 20th, China's military commission issued a document titled Measures on Insisting on Struggling Hardly and Building the Army Diligently and Thriftily to Improve the Quality and Efficiency of Army Construction. It mentions that the mindset of living on a tight budget is to be maintained, and careful budgeting is to be done, and that the military needs to improve the effectiveness of the military system and the efficiency of making use of national defense resources. The CCP has mentioned the slogan of building a frugal military or living frugally a few times in recent years. This time, however, it is a clear public statement, which is often seen as a sign that the government is running out of money for the military. Following the government's draconian policy of zero COVID from 2020 to 2022, which emptied local finances, a wave of pay cuts for civil servants has swept through almost all of China's provinces since the second half of 2021. Allowances and bonuses have been cancelled or reduced. At the end of 2022, when the zero COVID policy was lifted, China's economy continued to decline, and recovery has been difficult. According to informed sources, the wave of pay cuts has spread from the civil service to the military. Mr. Hui, who served in the military and went into business after retiring from the military, said in an interview with overseas media that everyone is now broke. Many civil servants and retired senior citizens have experienced delays in their salaries and pensions because payments can't be paid on time. The delay isn't that they don't get it, but it's paid half a month or a month later. It's the same in the state sector, including the army. Many of my comrades in the military, many of the subsidies are no longer available. It's been half a year now and they haven't gotten any of their benefits. Multiple veterans also confirmed that many civil servants and retirees are unable to receive their salaries and pensions on time. Many military subsidies are no longer available, and police officers are also experiencing pay cuts. The deputy director of a police station in a coastal city said that he had taken a pay cut and that everyone else at the police station took a pay cut too. Salary cuts have also been reported in China's military research institutes. A post last edited on December 18, 2023 on a mainland social media website read, Many research institutes in aerospace, CLP Power, China Shipbuilding Corporation, and weaponry have begun to reduce their salaries. The reduction ranges from 5% to 30%. The previous posts about salary reductions in military research institutes have disappeared, and the detailed contents are gone. In April 2022, a netizen anonymously posted about the change of his salary after he joined the No. 41 Institute of the 6th Academy of Aerospace Science and Industry in 2020. From July 2020 to December 2020, his salary averaged about $1,376 per month before tax. From January 2021 to June 2021, it was reduced to an average pre-tax of $1,100. From July 2021 to December 2021, the average is around $826 pre-tax plus year-end performance. Wages are getting lower by the year. Concerns have emerged that the declining treatment of the military and police reflects the CCP's authorities' financial constraints. It may lead to the military and police lying flat like the local bureaucracy. Some analysts believe that the CCP has to guarantee the military expenditure, so it doesn't dare to cut down the salary of the military personnel. But to save money, it may cut down the funding for the procurement of military equipment and the training of the military. Speaking of military expenditures, we have to talk about the prevalent corruption in the Chinese army. The CCP's publicized military expenditure is often much smaller than the actual spending. From 1993 to 2002, the CCP's military spending totaled about $181.2 billion. From 2003 to 2012, it soared to about 4.3 times that of the previous 10 years. During these 20 years, Jiang Zemin was in control of the military and corruption was rampant. The first major corruption offender to be investigated was Gu Juanshan. He was involved in more than $4.2 billion in crimes, including $83 million in verified corruption and bribes. He owned more than 300 properties and maintained 23 mistresses. In addition, the gold seized in his residence amounted to 400 kilograms. It's worth noting that Gu was only a lieutenant general. Xu Caiho, former vice chairman of the CCP Military Commission, was investigated in 2014. And the cash seized from the basement of his 2,000 square meter mansion weighed as much as 1 ton. At that time, there was a clear price list for getting different ranking and promotion in the CCP military: $30,000 for a company commander, $50,000 for a battalion commander, $140,000 for a regiment commander, $140,000 to $410,000 for a division commander, $690,000 for a military commander, and up to $1.38 million for a major military region commander. After Xi Jinping took power, he carried out a major purge of the military, knocking out at least 160 generals in the name of anti-corruption. However, this hasn't changed the corruption situation in the military. A terrible thing is that as new equipment is introduced to the military, with the high military spending, it gives generals another opportunity to get rich. For example, for the rocket force, missiles like the Dongfeng 17, Dongfeng 21D, Dongfeng 26, and Dongfeng 41 missiles have started to enter service in batches. A number of Navy destroyers and aircraft carriers have also begun to enter service. It's reported that in the 10 years from 2013 to 2022, the CCP's military spending totaled about $226.4 billion. By a conservative estimate, 20% of it is taken by corrupt officials. In recent years, in order to achieve the goals of fighting corruption and strengthening the military, Xi Jinping has significantly increased investment in the military, emphasizing that in the future, the income of military officers will mainly rely on their wages, and there should be no other gray incomes. In 2014, 2018, and 2021, Xi Jinping raised military salaries 3 times. In particular, the 2021 raise adjusted the level of military pay to 20% higher than that of civil servants, making the military treatment generally better than that of local civil servants. Since October 2023, the government has formally implemented the tentative provisions on the treatment and protection of civilian personnel in the military, further improving the treatment of civilian personnel in the military. A former retired serviceman pointed out that military personnel salaries were paid by the state through earmarked funds, while other subsidies were supposed to be provided by the local governments, which are now unable to pay for such subsidies. At the same time, the Communist Party and government departments have also frequently mentioned the principle of tightening the belt. At the 2 sessions in March 2024, the government work report clearly stated that governments at all levels should get used to tightening their belts. Subsequently, all regions have tightened their control over 3 public expenditures, that's meals, transportation, and travel, and cut back on general expenditures. It has reflected the financial difficulties faced by the CCP. According to official media, 3 jurisdictions including Inner Mongolia, Hunan, and Beijing have introduced specific measures to tighten the belt. For example, office desks and chairs, computers, and official vehicles should continue to be used as long as they can be repaired or utilized. According to an announcement on the official website of the National Government Offices Administration, Beijing was the first place to introduce these measures. The Beijing Municipal Bureau announced 19 specific measures in February, including to utilize the public warehouses to coordinate resources and strive to increase efficiency by more than 50% year-on-year. The paper reported on June 7th that several jurisdictions have announced the percentage of the latest round of downsizing, ranging from 2 to 5%. Early last year, the central government released the program for the reform of party and state institutions. It clearly set out the goal of streamlining the staffing establishment of central state organs by 5% and required localities to streamline as well. Local party and government organizations are required to streamline their staffing establishment, and there is no requirement for streamlining at the level of county and township. Local governments have been following in the footsteps of the central government. Neijiang City, Sichuan Province released a document to cut 3% of its staff. Luo City, Henan Province adopted an across-the-board approach, reducing 3% of the staff with a total of 54 posts eliminated. Gansu Province put out a policy document too, to reduce 5% of its employees. In February 2024, Shanxi TV station reported that the reform won't increase the number of departments and bureaus and will gradually reduce the administrative establishment of civil servants by 3% at the provincial level and at least 2% at the municipal level. It has been reported that the financial constraints of the central government have led to the salary arrears or reductions in the pay of civil servants in several economically important provinces, such as Jiangsu and Guangdong, as their financial resources deplete. In Guangdong, for example, Ms. Hong told overseas Chinese media that her father, who is in his 90s, is a retired official at the vice directorate level with an original pension of about US $4,100. Recently, his unit informed him that his pension would be reduced by US $690 per month from January 1st, 2024, and that he would be required to pay back the overpayment of his pension over the past 2 years by deducting US $690 per month for a total reduction of US $16,500. Ms. Hong believes that this reflects the severity of China's financial constraints. Informed sources from a department in Guangdong revealed that things are changing. Nowadays, it's lucky if one's regular salary or pension is paid, as year-end bonuses are cancelled and enterprise subsidies are in arrears. Enterprises applying for government subsidies, even if approved, the funds don't get dispersed promptly due to financial constraints. Informed sources also said that Guangdong is dominated by private and foreign enterprises. Due to factors such as the trade war, orders have been diverted to Southeast Asia and South Asia, and business activities in Shenzhen and Dongguan have decreased. The 2022 Russia-Ukraine war further aggravated the problem, resulting in fewer orders for China's manufacturing sector. It has seriously affected local revenues. Wu Jialong, a general economist from Taiwan, said there was a serious financial crisis from the central to local in China. They are out of money and it can't be covered up anymore. That's why civil servants are told to tighten their belts. Mr. Wu also explained why the Chinese government is running out of money. In the past, local governments borrowed money to build infrastructure in order to get attention and promotion from their superiors. And this debt model and overbuilt has resulted in construction projects that look beautiful but lack fiscal returns. A typical example is the construction of many highways and bridges in the mountainous areas of Guizhou province. Without fiscal returns, these projects have become liabilities and require extra money for maintenance. Especially after the real estate crisis, local governments have lost revenue through selling land, which used to account for about 40% of total revenue. Now, local governments have to cut civil servant salaries and bonuses to make up for this shortfall. Without the revenue from land sales, local governments can only rely on transfer payments from the central government, which is struggling itself. Thus, a financial crisis is seen in China.